Hello everyone, Professor Money Peak Trading. Today we're going to talk about Iovance again, and it's post FDA approval and earnings update. Lots of catalysts coming in 2024 and 2025, and we still believe there are more than 100% stock upside from here in the long term. Today is March 14, by the way, not first. I made a slide back to first, but have been going back forward with Iovance Biotherapeutics for some details, and that's why it took us about almost 2 weeks to make this video. So really quick disclaimer, I'm currently holding Iovance stocks and long call options. We do not represent any pharmaceutical company. Any medical question, please consult your doctors, and we're not financial advisors. Please invest at your own risks. So this is Iovance daily chart on the left after FDA approval. Really nice, $9 to 18.33. Unfortunately, started to pull back, and for a 15-day EMA crossed to the downside. Next EMA support is 13.57 and 11.99. What happened is, unfortunately, Iovance doesn't really have a near-term catalyst on the horizon. We'll mention in the next few slides. So right now is solely have the same price action as XBI, small biotech ETF, which the top holding is Iovance. So when XBS started to pull back, and unfortunately needs to sell some Iovance Biotherapeutics and also pull back Iovance. You can see the two price action are very similar right now. XBS also pulling back down, and it's all because the 10-year yield, TNX, is actually started to push up. It's actually moving reversely of XBI and Iovance. You can see the 4A 15-day EMA started to push up, especially this week, and especially today. Small cap actually sold out almost 3%, and XBI down almost 3% as well, and all because the hotter than expected PPI number this morning, and also CPI number hotter than expected yesterday. So as long as the inflation number coming hot, I do expect the TNX to range bound between 40 to 43. Maybe it'll push even higher. We'll see. But as long as this number TNX is going up, I do think XBI and Iovance will continue to get hit. And if Iovance does pull back to $12 without any fundamental changes, I do think that's really a gift for investors. If you have patience, I do think the reward will be really great if you potentially can add more. I do plan to add more once we pull back to this level. So let's take a look at agenda today. So the first, we're going to talk about the $211 million stock offering. A lot of people were talking about it about 2 weeks ago. And the price action update, earning highlights, upcoming catalysts, and merger and acquisition opportunity. So let's take a look at the $211 million private raise at $9.1 per share. Yeah, when it came out, a lot of investors are actually shocked. I was a little shocked too, seeing that they actually raised the money right away after such a good news at $9.1 per share. But looking into the details, they actually offer these shares to private investors and investment banks. So very selected group of investors who can access to this really good deal, in my opinion, because fundamentally Iovance should value a lot higher than $9.1 per share. So this is after some thoughts and research. First, it's not uncommon for an early biotech to offer this kind of deal. Because doing business is hard. Early biotech very capital extensive. You need to raise a lot of money. You have to, really please those early investors. So once Iovance took so long to reach this milestone, they really need to appreciate the early investor, and they probably already have this agreement with them and give them such a good deal to appreciate the investor and their patience and all the support throughout this year. So which I totally understand. I own small business myself as well. And having all this is really hard. Appreciate the early investor is actually not a bad thing. And second, it actually provides a really good entry point for investors like us who want to add more, right? Because if you look at a chart, once this news came out, Iovance actually pulled back, right? And actually give us one last chance to add more before we actually push up. So multiple good things. And because this private raise, after a few days, we can see who are actually buying this private raise. Mr. Wayne actually purchased 5 million shares at $9.1 per share. So he's now holding 30% of Iovance stocks. And seeing early investor having such conviction on the company is actually really a assuring thing and very good to see. And other early insiders are actually also adding the stock. On the other hand, there's also a very famous early biotech investment group called Perceptive Advisors. They also added 7.2 million shares of Iovance in their F13 filing as of March 1st this year. So now Iovance is actually their 5th largest holding. So seeing individual investors, family funds, and hedge funds are now adding Iovance, that also boosts us more confidence in the stock for individual investors. So yeah, really good price action. As we can see, this offer is actually giving us a really nice pullback on that Tuesday before the Iovance started to shoot up really quickly. So our this alert actually got rewarded really well as well. On the February 20th, that Tuesday, we actually added more January 2025 15 call. And as of when we report this video, it actually make a really good return on our option position. So price action updates. So currently in January 2024, we reaffirmed Iovance's target after FDA approval on melanoma. It's $18 to $26 per share. But because of this stock raising, which diluted the stock about 10.2%, we have to adjust the price target accordingly. So right now the price target after the stock offering is 6.2 to 23.3. So the current price as of March 1st was in the range of 16.8 and 18.3. So it does fall into our price range that we predicted pretty well. However, if you remember this chart, if you have been following us on YouTube about Iovance, we do provide a price rough estimate based on clinical trials and FDA timeline. You can see it's following our timeline pretty well, 24H1. It does fall into this $18 right now, right? However, what we want to highlight right now is starting from 24H2, things will start to get pretty uncertain because a lot of clinical trial priorities shift that we'll mention in the next few slides. So we have been going back forward with Iovance. The other thing we're not very clear is the Proleukin pricing. So based on their response, it seems like every melanoma patient will need about $90,000 to $95,000 worth of Proleukin during each TIL treatment. So if that's the case, we need to add about another 20% on their revenues. So we're still going back and forth. The Iovance on that is a little bit slow on the response. So it's a little shocking to us. And analysts did ask in the earnings calls, and the CEO did talk really fast, and I don't think everybody heard it very well. So we're doing some follow-up. So let's take a look at the earnings highlights. So basically, they are saying at least 20 patients are in the process of getting the TIL treatment, which include 10 patients already registered and scheduled and in the pending manufacturer slots. So we do think this is a really fast enrollment on this new treatment, and we do think there's a really strong demand, right? Because about 8,000 people unfortunately die in the US from melanoma. So we do think there's a strong demand since there's no current effective treatment except this new TIL treatment provided by Iovance. So I do think there should be at least 500 patients in the next 52 weeks. That should push the stock at least $20 to $24 per share, depending on how much Proleukin actually got billed from the insurance. We'll just have to see. Probably at the end of April, early May, we'll have a way better idea. Seeing more insurance data coming through in the claim data sets. I'm very proud that in the Bay Area where I am, the Stanford Cancer Center actually performed the first TIL therapy. And really nice to see that the field is actually moving really quickly on this new treatment, melanoma patient who really need the therapies. So fingers crossed, hopefully the therapy will go well for all these patients and for the investors as well. So take a look at the upcoming Iovance catalysts. So as we expected, last week, NSCLC Cohort 1 and 2 PIVOT clinical trial, the hold was lifted, but it was already kind of expected, so the importance is kind of low. The really next big thing is around May 29-ish, the Q2 earnings. We might not have enough data. Maybe we'll have to wait until the August earning to see the liver cell data. And then see the demand is really strong. We might really have a pretty good idea at the end of April or sometime in May, looking at insurance data sets, but we'll just have to see. This number will be really important if it's good. Probably more than 500 patients. Optimistically, we're expecting that. By the end of this year, we could probably see Iovance push again north to $20 to $24 a share. The other thing is it's not very clear. We have been clarifying with Iovance is about their cervical cancer cohort 2 clinical trial. It's actually very close to wrap up, but they do say they're deprioritizing it. And a few YouTube videos ago, we do mention Biogene's cervical cancer treatment is actually moving faster than Iovance. So even though this cohort 2 data looks good, Iovance very likely still need to do phase 3 trials on it. So maybe that's why Iovance decided to deprioritize this clinical trial, not abandon it or cancel it, but just deprioritize it. So we're not sure if we're going to see any cervical cancer reading second half this year or first half next year. But if looking good, I do think it's going to boost the stock price. They are going to file the Lifi, the European Union for approval. And we do think the approval decision will come in anywhere between second half this year or first half this year. Again, it's kind of uncertain. Once approved, we do think it's a medium level of catalyst because that will expand the market share potentially for the Lifi and also increase the revenues, right? The other thing is the second generation TIL, the IOVA 4001 clinical trial data. Very exciting if they can do some reading second half this year. That also could be very important, seeing this TIL, second generation TIL is actually performing better or not. But again, the CEO did mention the earning calls that they're not certain if they are going to give out that reading second half this year or not. So I put a question mark as well. And also the phase 3 trial, confirmatory trial on Lifi is probably the most important trial among all of them. We're probably going to get the data in 25, first half of next year. But again, the timeline is not provided so far. The other thing the management just mentioned, they're deprioritizing cervical cancer and they're prioritizing endometrial cancer, which they believe has a really low bar, and we think that's the case as well. And also the market is really big. It's about 200,000 patients each year in the United States. If they do, their therapy should perform relatively well on this trial. And if looking good, we do think we could have some reading probably second half this year after they finish enrollment in the second half of 2024. So again, you see a lot of uncertainties on all these clinical trials that the management hasn't been able to provide a more concrete timeline of when we should expect which data readouts, right? So a lot of catalysts on the horizon, but it's all kind of like 2024-ish, 2025-ish. We don't really know the timeline. So if we're back to this price action we provided before, and that's why now we're thinking the second half this year until the second half next year, I do think eventually stock will continue to push up if all those data are looking positive. But when is the big question, right? Because there's just so many uncertain timelines. So once we have more clarity, we're going to update this chart and provide investment friends and the community a better idea, our opinion. But right now, we just put uncertain here because really we don't know the timeline for each events. And last and most, let's talk about merger and acquisition really quick. A lot of big pharma actually have a lot of buying power. The data is from this analysis group. You can see each company. You can actually see our Twitter. We also posted this screenshot as well on our tweets. And you can see a lot of pharma in this year because a lot of patent expiring. They actually have lots of buying power in total, hundreds of billions of dollars. We do think Iovance is actually a really strong potential target for those patent and pipeline thirsty big pharma just to jump in and acquire. But any acquisition is always come with rumors and a lot of speculation. It's really hard to expect and guess which company at what time and at what price will acquire an early successful biotech like Iovance. This is just an example, right? February 26, 2020, Iovance share jump on buyout rumors. This is from major biotech media. And I do remember Iovance actually jumped about 52% on this rumor, and then COVID-19 came, the general market sell off, and Iovance eventually sell out really quickly. So can this kind of news come out anytime soon? Potentially, we don't know. but we just have to wait and see. But I personally think it's a very likely, seeing this strong pipeline and clinical trial performance and FDA approval, that's a really, really strong case that Iovance could get acquired just within this year, with potentially $30 to $40 per share in our humble opinion. But again, things can change. Maybe Iovance management doesn't want to accept the offer, and eventually buyout probably won't work out, especially if you see the career page at Iovance. They started to hire interns, a lot of manufacturer folks, and many other specialists trying to improve their manufacture and scale up the production of lifileucel. So maybe Iovance is working really hard to, just continue to launch by themselves. So it's really hard to tell. Thanks for watching this video. Make sure to like it. And if you like our Discord community, make sure to check us out on www.moneypigtrading.com. We share more investment education, cover more stocks that we like, more earlier, and provide more prompt response and information sharing than YouTube. And also make sure to follow us on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook group, and Reddit or Money Pig Trading. See you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.